Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to our group 5 presentation. Let me introduce our group. My name is Audia Triana, and my partners is Rizka, Salsabiila Syahan, and Haliza Tri Yudhawati. So today we will discuss about assessing grammar and vocabulary. Alright, so let's start the presentation session of the material that will be read by my partner, Haliza. Time is yours.
Okay, the first material is assessing grammar. In terms of assessment, grammar is central to language description and test taker performance. Today, the knowledge of grammar is evaluated by its correct use in communication through listening, speaking, reading, and writing in second language. Okay, next. Next is communicative competence, has 4 competence: grammatical, sociolinguistic, discourse, and strategy competence. Grammatical knowledge consists of 3 elements. The first is grammatical form or the structure of a language. Form is both morphology or how words are formed, and syntax, how words are strung together. Both of them are concerned with the linguistic accuracy of language. The second is the grammatical meaning of these forms. Grammatical meaning consists of both the literal and intended message that is conveyed by the form concerned with the meaningfulness of the language used. And the last is the pragmatic meaning are used in a given context. The pragmatic or implied meaning result from the appropriate language choice. Learners make in a given communicative event. Okay, next. Okay, next is a grammar skill assessment. Evaluates a job candidate's knowledge of and ability to apply grammar rules in a certain language. This assessment test candidates are on specific skill like correct use of tenses, word types, verb, adverbs, adjective, punctuation, passive purposes, active voice, and idioms. The level of grammar skills a candidate require depends on the nature of the role. For example, a copywriter or communication director may require an extensive technical command of grammar to ensure they can effectively communicate on behalf of the organization. In comparison, basic grammar skills may be sufficient for a landscaping assistant or salesperson who mainly communicates via internal emails or chat message. Okay, next. Next is grammar skill assessment. Typically imply a range of questions including the first is multiple choice, the second is fill in the blank, the third is composition task requiring candidates to write sentence or paragraph correctly. The fourth is correction, and the last sentence diagramming, explaining how each part of the sentence works. You can administer grammar skill assessment for candidates online, which is convenient for both your candidates and your organization. Okay, next.
Okay, so next is why our grammar skill is important. So good grammar skills are non-negotiable for roles where writing is core function, like for PR officers, copywriters, and editors. But a basic understanding of grammar rules is necessary for almost every profession. as our employees produce some form of written communication, emails, manuals, white papers, social media posts, letters to client, and reports to name a few. Next. So there are several reasons why your employees and candidates needs to have a good grasp of grammar rules. So number one is give a good first impression. So uh, free writing is essential for making good first impression. Written communication is often the first contact client. Uh, so good grammar reassures the recipient that they can feel confident working with your business. And next, they are ensures effective communication. So employees with good grammar skills can communicate effectively, clearly, and precisely, saving your business time and money. And then the third is reflects a level of professionalism. So your employees reflect your company brand and values, so it's important their writing skill uphold a level of professionalism. This is very helpful. So next is save time and money. So if you hire employees with programmer skills, their college or supervisor may need to overs or proofread their written work before it's sent out. This can be time consuming and distracting for his employees. And the last is indicates attention to detail. So employees with good grammar skills naturally have a high level of attention to detail, which may be a sign of the why they approach their work more boldly. Next. What grammar skills and traits are important for employees? So number one, there is sentence structure. So to communicate effectively in workplace, employees should understand the different elements of a sentence and how to use them in the correct order. This includes verbs, adverbs, adjectives, noun, prepositions, subject, object, and clauses. And number two is passive and active voice. So when using the active voice, the subject of the sentence performs an action. In comparison, when using the passive voice, the subject receives the action. And number three is pronouns. Pronouns are words that can replace proper nouns, for example, I, you, they, we, etc. And number four is linking verbs. Verbs usually describe an action in a sentence. Linking verbs, however, describe the state of the subject, like be, seems, and looks. And then object-verb agreement. So verb must agree with the number, person, or gender of the subject of the sentence. For example, in English, the verb be in the present tense changes depending on the subject I'm, you are, she is, and etc. For effective communication, employees need to know and apply the correct subject agreement rules. And the last is homophones. Homophones are words that are pronounced the same but spelled differently. Some common some common some common examples for English include your, their, loose and loose, etc. And next is assessing vocabulary. So one way to assess vocabulary is to ask a person the definition of the word. This means that if a teacher assigns students a list of vocabulary words to learn, the easy way to assess whether a student has mastered these new vocab words is to give them a closed book test in which they must provide the definition. Depending on grade level, this could involve writing the definition of each word, matching each word to its definition, or reciting the definition of words shown on vocabulary flashcard. Next. Next.
Okay. Next is choose the correct word. When students know what a word means, they can apply that knowledge to select the correct word between multiple options. Assessment that requires students to choose between similar words can be a good way to assess a vocabulary mastery. An assessment like this commonly confused word worksheet can reveal if a student knows a word's definition well enough to discriminate between it and similar terms. And the next is fill in the correct term. Rather than have students choose between two words to complete a sentence, you can also test vocabulary with basic fill in the blank activity that requires students to complete sentence with a vocabulary word. For example, when your students are learning adverbs, this fill in the adverb worksheets can help you assess their skills. This doesn't have to be limited to a particular part of speech, but can be done with any list of vocabulary words. And next is use the word in context. The true value of knowing a word is being able to use it in context. Evaluating whether a student can use a word properly in context provides insights into whether they can apply their knowledge of the definition. One way to do this is to encourage students to write simple sentences using vocabulary words, then review their work to determine if they are properly using the terms. And then identify the opposite. To really push students to higher order usage of vocabulary terms, test their knowledge of vocabulary words by using antonyms. Instead of asking students to simply define vocabulary words, provide them with terms that are the opposite of the words they're learning. Their task upon being presented with a word's antonym, they will need to tell you which vocabulary word means the opposite. For example, if one of the vocabulary word is use, provide students with the word new as its antonym. This assessment can be done verbally or as a written test. These examples of antonym for kids can help you come up with words to use. Like for example, like for this, the nature of vocabulary. We can identify words as a token and types. Tokens are all the words in the paragraph. Types, on the other hand, do not count words that are repeated, only words that are different forms. And the second one is the difference between function words and content words. Function word, preposition, article, conjunction, and other little words are seen as belonging more to the grammar of the language than vocabulary. Content words are nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. And the last is some vocabulary tests have might focus larger on the lexical items such as phrasal verbs, like put up with or run into, compound words like personal computer, or idioms like pretty penny, which have meaning only as a whole unit. And the last is 4 types of lexical process. The polywords are short fixed processes that are performed a variety of functions such as qualifying, marking fluency, disagreement, and others. For example, for the most part, so to speak, and wait a minute. And the next is institutionalized. Like expressions are longer utterance that are fixed in forms such as proverb and formulas for social interaction. For example, nice to meet you, how it's going, and others. And phrasal. Constraints are medium-length phrases that have basic structure with one or two slots that can be filled by various words or phrases. For example, you're truly or sincerely as far as I know or can tell, and others. And last, a sentence builders are phrases that provide the framework for a complete sentence with one or two slots where whole ideas can be expressed. For example, on the other hand, X, not only X, but also X. Thank you.
Okay, so the presentation session has been delivered. So for everyone who wants to ask, you can ask a question in the comment below in this video, and then we will reply the comment, and then we will reply, and then we will answer by replying your comment in the YouTube. Okay, thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.